If you have a smart lock from SwitchBot, then a must-have is the SwitchBot Keypad Touch. It unlocks so many more options for opening your smart lock. I'm Wanderer001. Let's get into it. To start things off, the Keypad Touch is 4.4 inches by 1.5 inches at the base here and 1.4 inches in width. It weighs 4.4 ounces with the batteries installed. The operating temperature, because this is meant to be outside, is -13 degrees up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit with a humidity rating of between 10% and 90%. However, it is IP65 weather rated, so it can get some splashes on it and still be okay. The construction of it overall is ABS plastic with a metal mounting plate, which I'll show you a little later. On the front of it, we have our keypad, and if I press on a button, you can see the keypad itself lights up, and it gives us some information. That right there, that means that's an NFC tag. Up there, it's waiting for me to input the right code, and you see if I do it correctly, it'll flash, letting me know that it's unlocking, and now has unlocked my SwitchBot Lock downstairs, and I could simply lock it from here. The front also has a fingerprint scanner on it. The NFC has the ability to save 100 cards, and the fingerprint scanner has the ability to save 100 fingerprints. All information saved on the device, not going up to the cloud. If we look around the device, you've got your back panel here with your battery, and then these are actually sensors that let this know if it's been tampered with. We'll get into that a little later. And then over here, you've got a little speaker, which is where you were hearing that beeping from. And then on the bottom, there actually is a unlock mechanism that if you put a push pin, will actually retract this right here and allow you to remove it from the mounting plate. But there's a lot that you get with the SwitchBot Keypad Touch. So let's take a look at what we get in the box with it. The keypad itself, really lightweight. We have a metal mounting plate, 3M sticky for the mounting plate if we don't want to drill, guide sticker, a key card, what looks like a SIM ejector tool, alcohol wipe for setup, and a quick start guide card. And then last but not least, included batteries, mounting hardware, and gaskets. Now that we see everything that we get with the SwitchBot Keypad Touch, next let's see how simple it is to set up. This is setup of the SwitchBot Keypad Touch. First, you're going to make sure you have the SwitchBot app, and then you're going to come up to the plus sign and then select Add a Device. From here, you're going to locate the Keypad Touch. Down here under Security, Keypad Touch. Select. So you have to long press these two to get things started, which means you have to pop the back off and make sure that you get your batteries installed. And there we go. Heard a little beep. We're just gonna get that in place. And the lights were green on the front. So it is saying to press and hold these for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Green light at the top is flashing. When it is, select next. And that did turn off rather quickly, so I hope that the communication between the two has already started. Yeah, it was too quick. Here we go. We can change the name. We're just going to call this Keypad Touch Room. We're going to assign it to the living room because that's where the door is, and select Save. And now it's going to walk us through the mounting installation. We can either do it with the mounting plate and the screws, or we could use the tape adhesive. So we're going to say the screws, what we need. So right now it's letting us know this isn't paired to the lock. So we can say, don't show me again, or I could say pair to lock. And then there's my lock. Pair, and hopefully we are close enough. So I'm connected to the keypad. Oh, good. Code is, and here's a test code to make sure that it actually opens up. And then okay. And I heard it open up downstairs, and here's my notification saying that my door has been unlocked, which also means I can select lock from up here, and I heard a lock. SwitchBot door lock, all done. Good. And that has been setup of the SwitchBot Keypad Touch. There you saw, realistically, not that difficult to set up. Installation, if you're going to install this, is pretty simple as well. Put a plate on the wall, screw it into place, lock it into place. But there is a lot more that this can do than just unlock and lock your door. And that's all done through the SwitchBot app. So let's take a look. This is the application for the SwitchBot Keypad Touch. There are 2 ways that you can access the keypad. It does have its own icon on the home page, but if you have the SwitchBot Lock Pro, you can also access it right here under the keypad. Both will bring you to this location, but we're going to come back and show you from the keypad icon right here at the top. You can see that it is paired with my SwitchBot Lock Pro. You see it's going to show you that right there. It shows you your battery, Bluetooth if you have Bluetooth, and then cloud icon if you have something like the SwitchBot Hub. Just under that, you have logs. This will show you exactly what has happened. So in my case, you could see I've done a couple of tests, unlocked, successful, locked, and it shows you test code, wanderer, unknown fingerprint, unknown passcode, NFC, and then you could see device was removed. This is going to show you all the happening. So if you want to know the coming and goings of your lock via the touchpad, this is how you'd be able to do it, handing out temporary codes and such, which we're going to get into momentarily. Down here, we have our 3 options. First being passwords. You can set up permanent passwords, and then by selecting one, you can change the name, change the type, and here you could see my very secure password, but you can make that change right there. And then when it was created, as well as the email address of the person who created it, you can delete up here at the top, or you can select share to share it out. If we wanted to create a new password, we simply press the plus sign and then select what type of password we want to create. Permanent, meaning it will always work. Temporary, meaning there's a fixed date and time. A one-time password, and then an emergency password. If you create an emergency password, up here it's letting you know that this is a password that you can input, and it will notify people that you are doing so under distress in order to access your home. If we come back down here, I'm going to show you what the temporary looks like. So you can have it randomly make one for you, and then select next, and then here you could set begin and end, both date and time, and then next. And then that will set up the temporary password. One-time password, as it sounds, you make it, it goes out, you're good to go. And you have enough that you can have for every person in your household, as well as people who may need to get in on their own occasionally. Coming over, we have fingerprint. This is how you would set up a fingerprint. Again, if I press this, I can edit the name. It'll show me the type, add, the date, email, and then enhanced fingerprint. This is for fingerprints that are hard to read. What this will do is actually add another fingerprint to match your fingerprint in order to make it easier to read. However, you can only add up to 10 emergency fingerprints and 90 permanent and temporary. So this would use one of yours if you chose to do that. To add a fingerprint, simply select the plus sign, permanent, temporary, and then emergency. Just like before, we can select, and what it'll ask you to do now is start adding, and I just happen to have the keypad off, so I would say start adding, and I would press, 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 press. And that will add it, and then I could set up a date and time. We'll leave it as is and select next. You can give it a name. I'm going to select save and done. And now I have a second fingerprint, which is good from May 4th at 1600 to May 4th at 1700. Moving on, we have our NFC. You can have several different NFC cards set up, and just like with everything else, I can select, I can change the name, it'll show me the type, what it was, the date, and email address. I can delete any one of these from the top, but let me show you what it was like setting up an NFC card. Select NFC and then plus, and we'll say that this is a permanent one, and it's ready. So you can use the NFC from here, and we'll say that's the permanent NFC card, and done. So now, if I use the card, 2-step process, but I swipe it, and it unlocks. And right there, it's letting me know that it unlocked it, and we can relock it. There we go. Those are the basics of the SwitchBot Keypad Touch. If we come to the upper right hand corner here, we get to the settings. So we can make more adjustments by selecting the sprocket icon. Up here at the top, we have the name of the device. I just happen to leave it as is. If I select that, I can change the name. I can change its location, what home it might be in, and then what room within that home. Coming back, we have lock and button settings. Selecting this, do I want to enable or disable the ability to lock when the door is closed? So right now it says enabled when door is closed. My door would have to be closed in order for me to be able to do that. So right there, it's sending a signal. If I select disable and I try, notice it's not doing anything. So I'll select enable and I can toggle on when door closed, meaning this will send a signal to the lock after a set amount of time. You don't necessarily need that, but it's a nice option that's there, but it's also on the lock itself. Coming down, we have disable keypad. Keypad will no longer work, and you'll need to either use the NFC card or a correct pass pin in order for it to start working. Keypad removal alerts. This is a really great feature in that if it's removed from your wall, it's going to sound an alarm and will continue making an alarm sound until a pin code or NFC is used to turn it off. And it looks like this. And I'm showing it to you off the wall, just so you can see it. These metal brackets make contact with the metal backplate, and if removed, when removed, it will continuously beep and flash red until either the correct passcode or an NFC card is used to silence it. After our alerts, we have backlight and sound. If we bring our keypad into frame here, we have the ability to turn on and off a backlight. This one right here, this is auto. If I select auto adjust, based on the ambient light is how bright this will get. So if I don't do it, that's how bright things are. If I select this, based on my surrounding, notice it dims them out. Sound, as you heard, as I'm typing, it lets you know that it is typing and has sent a command, and we're just gonna lock things up. Once done, it lets you know. Coming back, we have device and pairing, which we did during the setup process, but we could unpair from here if we wanted to. Connecting to the cloud, if you have a SwitchBot hub, simply toggle this on and it will connect itself there. You have FAQs, so if you couldn't find something in this video, SwitchBot provides you lots of information. Firmware and battery shows the battery level and your firmware. If it needs updating, that's where you'd go. Device information, we'll show you some sensitive stuff, so I won't bring you in there. But down here we have our delete, and that will remove the touchpad from our application. And that has been everything that we can do for the SwitchBot Keypad Touch using the SwitchBot app. As you saw, a lot that you can do for just such a simple looking device. But you want to know, does it actually do what it's supposed to do? We're going to move into some testing in which I will demonstrate using the keypad, which you can hide your actual combination in here by inputting a bunch of other numbers. So if I do, because you saw my code before, there you go. It's actually opening it as I hit a bunch of stuff in there, and we'll lock that back up, which is one of the great things that you can do with this. SwitchBot thought ahead.
Unlocking via code. Unlocking via NFC. Unlocking via fingerprint.
Even though it is a relatively simple device, there is one big con that I have for it, and that is this battery door, which was a pain to open. You could see there are some scratch marks in there because I used coins, I used a knife, I used screwdriver. I get why they do it. They want to make it harder to get the batteries out to prevent people from, if they snatch this, turning it off. But that was really hard. I wish there was a lock for it. I'm just putting it out there. I can't be the only one that had that problem. But if you're going to get a SwitchBot Lock, this is a must-have. No pun intended, it unlocks a variety of extra opening options to you and will make the use of your smart door lock even better. If this sounds like what you've been looking for, I will have a link for where you can pick one up for yourself in the description area below. If you appreciate the time and effort that goes into making a comprehensive video like this, make sure to hit that like button to help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here and want to be notified of my next review, hit that subscribe button. Not sure if SwitchBot is the right manufacturer for you? On screen now you will see 2 other SwitchBot products I've reviewed to help you make a more informed decision for yourself.